Hello world, it's Dave again, and this is my third entry into my lucid dreaming log. This time not so much philosophizing about the nature of dreaming or anything like that. I've just got a backlog of a couple of dreams here. So here we are, first dream. Dream 5, January 2nd, 2014. So, as is popular today in media, there's The Walking Dead and other things like it, tons of movies. I would recommend 28 Weeks Later if you want to see the most intense movie you've ever seen in your life. I walked out of the theater the first time I was watching it. It was too much, too heavy. But zombies. Zombies is the theme of this dream. It was a classic zombie survival dream, and you're doing all those things in the dream that happens when you have zombie survival. So it was collecting ammo, getting weapons, finding a safe spot, things of that nature. And I like to record if I can recall a very weird aspect of my dream, I like to do that. So the weird aspect of this dream was that I picked up an ammo pack at one point, and when I opened it, it was filled with Canadian dimes. And it's just the kind of thing in a dream where sometimes you'll want to do something or use something, and the dream just like bends it and makes it, not so useful. Like I've had other dreams where I basically I'll have like a sword, and then the sword becomes like rubber, things like that. So that was similar in this dream. There was two parts to this dream in the evening. The second part was that I was going snowboarding after the zombie survival. Strange. And so I'm going snowboarding. I go through. I have to pay for my lift ticket. When I'm paying for my lift ticket, I have a big stack of 20s, and the rude bastard at the till goes and just grabs one of the 20s off the top of the stack. I was like, oh man, that's rude. You don't just grab people's money. And so I got through to the other side. I got into all my gear, and I was ready to go. And then I woke up, which is kind of a shame because I bet snowboarding in a dream would be really interesting. That'd probably be pretty cool. I've never experienced that that I can remember. Dream 1. Okay, Dream 6, January 3rd, 2014. The next one was a dream where I was on a road trip with a bunch of friends. Kind of interesting. I was traveling across Japan with like 3 or 4 people. And we were doing this in a car where if there's 3 or 4 people, you'd think my dream would account for that, and I'd be driving something that, could have that many passengers. But no, when I got a view of my car in the dream, it was like a drag racer with the big wheels at the back and the small wheels in the front. So really, really bizarre. Classic weird dream stuff going on there. And I remember crashing the vehicle at one point, so it was only the end result was like flaming wreckage. So that's where that dream basically ended up. Pretty concise. That's all I could remember of that one. Dream 7, January 4th, 2014. This one is one of the coolest, I would say, just to think about in recent memory since I've started to track these. So when I was young, my brothers were really into motorbiking. I was a little bit too young to be able to enjoy this with them, and they and their friends would always go behind the house, which was very connected to this big, expansive, verdant forest on Vancouver Island, and they would go motorbiking there. So the nature of this dream was that I was out there motorbiking with them, which was pretty cool in this big, beautiful West Coast forest. And then, the dream was jumping around a little bit. I remember hanging out with the first woman who was my girlfriend, or my first girlfriend. I'll make that simpler. Her name was Vanessa. I had a good relationship with her. It had its ups and downs, but for her first run, it was really good. Bless her heart. I hope she's doing well now. Can't seem to find her anywhere. I've thought about contacting her again, but I don't really do the Facebook thing. Or I suppose this is social media, but this is the only form that I do. So it was cool to think about her. I also remember at the end of the dream a large common room after everybody was done, motorbiking, I guess. And in the large common room, there were a bunch of really comfy seats and couches, stuff like that. People were playing video games on a big screen. And it's kind of cool. I feel like this dream was kind of like my go back in time dream, remembering being on the island, remembering my first girlfriend, stuff like that. So that was really cool. But that's about it. The common room is where it ended. Dream 8, January 5th, 2014. So this was separated into 2 bits. The first part really, really vague. I'm not getting up early enough. When I wake up in the morning, I kind of lounge in bed, and that totally allows for your chemistry to change in your brain, and then you forget more easily what it was you were dreaming of. So the first half of the dream was a combat dream. I know I was fighting people. The locale was a school. I could tell by the way the rooms were laid out and stuff, and the different floors and everything. So we were fighting in a school. Everybody had different abilities, kung fu kind of stuff. And I remember the color blue. I don't know why. It's like somebody had some attack that was blue, like Hadouken, from Street Fighter or something. I don't know. So the second part of the dream is the more expansive of the two. It's closer to when I woke up and so more easily recalled. And this was kind of cool because I was with a big group of friends from Vancouver Island, again, harkening back to my days when I lived on the island. And it was the goal in this dream for us to go to a sort of pitch and putt golf course that we knew was out in the woods and was owned by this guy. It was kind of his personal course, not really well maintained, but we thought that we could sneak onto the thing if we wanted to. So we were going to drive there, and in the dream, I was going to drive my compact car that I drive here in Japan. I just thought this is really funny for a weird detail, where when I got my car out. This is how I say it. So if you think about these tents that used to collapsing tents, which would then unfold when you take them out of the bag, so they just kind of spring open. My car in my dream, I had in a bag, and I was like, oh yeah, we can take my car. And I pulled it out of this bag, and it kind of like popped open like one of these collapsing tents. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. I was like, they need to build a car like that with like mal metal and stuff. I don't know. It was really, really interesting. And I just remember, I think that was a little bit of lucidness. That was the first bit of lucidness in my dream there, where I was like, that seems awfully strange for a car to be able to do that. But really, really cool. And then we drove to the place. We snuck onto it. It's kind of like I say, poorly maintained. There was like, kind of brown greens. It was in the middle of a forest. I remember a kind of a bleak old house being at the side of it, the one that we were avoiding for the guy who actually owned the property. And that was kind of it. Okay, so coming up to date now, Dream 9, January 6, 2014. The shittiest dream so far because this is the least remembered of any dreams that I've had. And I know that there was a whole ton of it, but this is a perfect example, like I say, of lingering too long in bed and not trying to remember it when I wake up. So if you've ever played the game Far Cry, the most recent one, Far Cry 3, very popular game, at the beginning of it, the whole idea is that these people come to this tropical island. It's beautiful. They're having a great time. But then there's actually these criminals on the island, these terrorists, and they capture the people who are on the island. And my dream followed that storyline almost to a T, where I was like, woke up, I was like, that was like the Far Cry intro dream. That was interesting. And then I forget everything else. I know that like we were going to get captured by these people, but that was it. So now I'm up to date tonight. When I wake up tomorrow morning, I've got a Japanese lesson in the morning, so I'm going to have to get up a little more quickly. So I'm hoping that that leads to my most elaborately recorded dream yet. So hopefully that's what is to come. Yeah, so if you like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff on YouTube. More dreams to come, more discussion of dreaming and lucid dreaming, more discussion of methods and whatnot. And like I like to say, until we meet again next time, world, thanks for tripping with Dave. Ciao for now. Peace.